Good morning, everyone. The Great Hazelnut Harvest 2021 continues. First light at Hazel Acres. Day 22, and boy oh boy, it is hard to believe we are starting our fourth week of picking hazelnuts. Things are starting to wind down here. We only have one row left. The weather might be a little iffy today, so we're going to get an early start. Blue skies over Hazel Acres. The sun is shining, but it looks a little blue to the north there, so we'll see if we end up getting a little shot of rain or not. We could use it. We're still in a deficit overall for rain. Trigger, the big yellow dog, has been waiting patiently all day to fetch his favorite toy. So before we get back to picking, a couple of tosses. Good boy. Do it again. Okay, now drop it, sit, good boy. It sure is a warm one today, with strong south winds bringing the heat. But it's a good feeling, because I'm almost sure we're gonna finish up tomorrow. These are the last of the nuts we just picked. We're tight for bin space, so we're going to load up 4 barrels of dried down nuts in the husk and take them to Nut Haven, where nuts roam free, to be husked with the Super Squirrel Husker. A huge sigh of relief. Get ready to stick a fork in it, because we're almost done. These are the barrels we've filled with dried down nuts in the husk. Getting them out of here will give us valuable floor space to dry down freshly picked nuts. Although at this stage of the game, most of the nut clusters are fairly dried down already. These nuts in the barrels are nice and crispy, and many of them have been in here for at least 10 days and some more than 2 weeks. When dried down, nut clusters get husked through the Super Squirrel Husker. The dry husk material turns to chaff and is easily sucked off with a vacuum system. We need to get these nuts out of the bin and into the back end of my pickup, and then to Nut Haven. I'll speed things up as you follow along. The Bobcat skid steer loader makes quick work of moving barrels around. With the hydraulic bucket, it can lift the drums with ease. And let me tell you, these things are not light. I figure there is at least 70 to 85 pounds in each, if not more. We got the nuts safely transported to Nut Haven, so we'll get them unloaded and then start transferring them to a larger holding tank where we can keep them covered with a piece of plywood while we wait to get the Super Squirrel Husker up and operational. The rain held off even though the sky looked awfully blue after lunch. And yes, it's been a warm one, and the wind blew really hard. Wind turbines must have been cranking out the power today. As the sun sets and evening takes hold, it is a good feeling to be so close to finishing up. The marathon I talked about earlier in the season is coming to a close. The blinking red lights in the distance mark the wind turbines to the west. And that's going to do it from Hazel Acres on day 22. Have a good night, everyone.